This day in history, February 12th, four awesome voice actors were born today.
Jeez.
um, of different or different different walks of life on different sides of the ocean for us Transformer fans. We'll do it in order of birth. So February 12th, 1941, Hiroya Ishimaru was born, aka the voice of Rodimus Prime from the Japanese side of Transformers. Um, the cool thing with him is just like how Judd Nelson did G1 Rodimus, and then Judd Nelson would come back and reprise the role of animated Rodimus. Same thing with Ishimaru here. Ishimaru voiced Hot Rod Rodimus in the 2010 series, Hot Rod Rodimus in the Headmaster series, and of course the 86 movie, and then would come back to reprise his role for animated Rodimus. So it's funny how both sides of the ocean did the exact same thing.
Nice.
Ishimaru in Japan is also known as he is the go-to for all of Jackie Chan's dubs for
Oh,
himself.
really?
So no, it's interesting, like his what he's used for really.
Mm.
His best known role, if you live in Japan, his best known role of anything is he plays Ultraman Taro, which
Mm.
is interesting because Ultraman Taro kind of was like the son of Ultra Father, who's kind of like the next in line to be leader of the Ultras in a sense. And so it's funny how he plays that same kind of character, even back then with Ultraman. And that's his most famous role because Ultraman Taro is a pretty important thing in Japan. Um, but he's done a lot of other stuff. Casey Jones for all the Japanese Ninja Turtle dubs was him. Um, he's in Simpsons. He's Lionel Hutz and Barney Gumble for the dub there. Launchpad McQuack for DuckTales
Oh, no way.
in Japan. So very famous voice actor. Again, that Ultraman role being the most popular for him. So, and by the way, he turns, as of today, as of this recording, he turns 77. So
Wow.
he's 77 young. Next one, February 12th, 1948, Issei Masamune. Now, Issei Masamune was known for not only the voice of G1 Soundwave in Japan, but he
Nice.
also was the narrator for all the different Transformer series. So whenever
Oh.
you see Japanese commercials of Japanese G1 Transformer stuff and you hear the, Shujio no Zedo, Transformer Zone series, he was the narrator. So, like, just like how Victor Caroli, it is the year 2005. This is the equivalency of Victor for
Mm.
Japan. So he was the voice of Soundwave, but he also was the narrator. Um, he would also go on to be some of the quintessons and everything. And essentially, Soundwave was his go-to character for the longest time. There's not much else that he's really known for, even in the Japanese side of things. He plays different characters in different mecha series from Gundam Mobile Suit, but more smaller characters like
Okay.
Cassius and Gaia, and from Armored Trooper Voltum. Again, smaller characters. And from a dubbing standpoint, well, I guess he was he was the narrating character for the RoboCop animated series. He really was more. He has more of that narrating kind of voice in there, and so he turns 70. So
Wow.
still with us today.
On the dot.
Now let's go to some Americans on our side of the coast. So Michael Ironside,
Yeah.
the voice of Prime's Ultra Magnus, Transformer Prime Ultra Magnus. Now, Michael Ironside is known for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. I don't know if you want to like say anything that you like that he's done, Wendell.
Oh, let me just make sure it's the same guy.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, it is. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Cause let's see. So we're kids of the '90s, right? So let's
yes.
see here.
Oh,
We would
just to mention, born February 12th, 1950. Okay,
yeah.
okay,
For one, he's a Canuck.
yeah. Oh, he's a Canadian.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And some of us might remember him from Starship Troopers. He was the teacher that was telling him to join up in the war and stuff, and it turned out he was the big war hero towards the end of the movie. Oh, no, no, or he no he I think he led the Roughnecks actually. He was his teacher and he led the Roughnecks. He was the main bad guy in Total Recall. Some people might not forget that. He's if you're into video games, in was it no, it wasn't Siphon Filter. What was the other one? Crap. He's Sam Fisher
Splinter Cell.
in Splinter Cell. There we go. Also, he has kind of a knack for playing bad guys. He was the main bad guy in Free Willy.
Well, he played Darkseid in the Superman animated series and Justice League.
Nice,
So
nice.
so
Yeah,
I mean there it doesn't get more bad than that.
yeah, he has a definitely distinct voice.
And so what we would know him as Transformer fans is Ultra Magnus and Transformers Prime, which was the more gruff kind of Ultra Magnus character.
Mm,
And he himself, as of today, he turns 68. So he's
nice.
getting on to 72. And
Just
last but
just
not
so,
least,
just the one before we leave from Michael Ironside. I remember one little anecdote he gave when he was on George Stroumboulopoulos' show. He was filming Total Recall, and he was kind of doing like I think this was one of his first big Hollywood movies, but he was a roofer I think at the time. He was doing some kind of construction work, and in his head he was like, as someone asked him, "Oh, what are you gonna do on the weekend?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go back to my other job, doing roofing." And I think it was the director Paul Verhoeven. He was like, "You're on the set of a Hollywood movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger is literally right there, and so is Sharon Stone. Like, you don't have to go back and do that anymore." And that's when he kind of clicked for him, like, "Oh, I, I'm legitimately an actor now. Oops."
he's part of SAG.
That was his first like big time movie. Because I mean, he also was in Scanners, and uh, that was one of David Cronenberg's movie. But David Cronenberg is another Canadian director that does a lot of weird stuff, like another movie they did, The Fly and stuff like that. Like, but I think that was when it kind of, oh right, right, this is my life now. Oops.
And last but not least, and definitely not least, and she's a sweetie, February 12th, 1973, Tara Strong was born.
And what a beautiful lady.
And she is everything.
Yes.
Let's just do the Transformer
Another,
side of thing.
also another Canuck.
Also Canadian. Yeah, I guess there was no Americans this time. I take it back. Well, she's Canadian American because I believe she married American. So,
Yeah, but she
she married into the United States.
She was born in Toronto, Canada, just like Michael Ironside.
So America, you could thank us for a very good import.
All of
We'd
our
like her.
imports.
We'd like her back, please.
People.
So she of course from the Transformers side, she was Sari Sumdak. She was Teletran 1. She was Daniel, as in Daniel Witwicky. He had very few lines, but she was his voice. The press secretary. She was Carly also when she had one or two lines. She was Slo-Mo, one of the human villains. She was Slipstream, the female Starscream. She was Strika. She was Red Alert, who also was a female version in the animated series. That's what she was known for in Transformers, and that's where she made her biggest impact. She actually was at BotCon 2008, and I got to meet her in person, and she was just the most amazing person. And I'll never forget, like, her and David Kay, who were so seasoned in the game of dealing with fans and everything like that, and Bumper Robinson being there, who was the was the man out, who was just so lost.
No.
Yeah, and again, she is known for, I mean, just to go through her other stuff, Batgirl from the Batman series, from WB, Timmy Turner from Fairly Odd Parents.
Yep.
She was the first ever like true female Ghostbuster from Extreme Ghostbusters from Kylie Griffin, which was the goth-looking one. You could say Janine because she was temporaries at a few times. Another one that she's also well known for is Raven from Teen Titans. That's probably one of her least upbeat kind of characters, the opposite side of the spectrum. She's Ben Tenson from Ben 10, so once again, main character. Riku from Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X2.
In Boondock, she's Cindy McPherson.
Oh, really? I didn't know that one.
So that's Riley's like kind of like buddy, white girl buddy.
Her
that's
like halfu white girl buddy friend.
No, not the half girl.
Oh,
the
that
girl.
one. Oh,
the blonde one from I think it was like the third. Is it the third season?
That's the one that's good at basketball?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, now I know. Again, another famous one that she's known for, Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. Ashy from Samurai Jack. Can't forget Harley Quinn with her and the Batman Arkham City
Hmm.
video game stuff. And of course, probably what she's most well known for today is her work with obviously the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic brand with Twilight Sparkle, the main character.
I was gonna jump in and interrupt you and be like, yeah, yeah, she was Billy Batson in Batman Brave and the Bold, best known work, just to be silly
But
about
yeah,
it.
that's what she's most known for today. I'll tell you one thing: when Vine was still a thing,
Oh,
if
right.
if there was one person you followed on Vine, it was Sarah, it was Tara Strong. She literally voice acts 24/7. She would just be on Vine, just sitting on her couch and just narrating voices in the heads of all her animals.
Right.
Like she was just, I remember, I forget who I was talking to. I was just looking at her Vine, and then someone said to me, "Is like, imagine being married to her, like how she must be, like in the bedroom,
Oh
everywhere, just
no.
like." And I mean, she aged very well. Let's put it this way. I mean, I don't want to say a lady's age, but she's 45 right now, and she aged very, very, very well, and she looks really good. And when I saw her at BotCon 2008, she looked great for like I think at the time she was well, actually at time she was 35,
Mm.
and she looked amazing. Like she takes very good care of herself. Someone should some cloning there, get some of that blood.
Oh snap!
Um,
She was in the Raccoons as Donna,
oh, she's done a ton of stuff. Like
and
her.
she's in Pro Star. She was Laura,
Oh, she was the sidekick of the Jewish mom
but she was like,
character.
yeah, as of Mom. That was the name of the character, no? Mom?
Yeah, Ma. Literally, that was the.
But she was uncredited in Pro Stars. I just wanted to dig super low, super
Yeah,
deep.
she's done a ton of stuff, and I
Adventures
remember
of
like
Super Mario Brothers 3, Hip Koopa, Hop Koopa.
okay, yeah. Well, Hip and Hop, what those were was Super Mario Brothers 3. They didn't have the rights to use the names of the actual Koopa kids,
Hmm.
so they had so Hip and Hop, if I remember correctly, was Iggy and Larry Koopa. No, wait,
Uh,
not Iggy and Larry. I think it was Iggy and I don't think it was Larry Koopa. I think it was Iggy and I'd have to look it up, but I know Iggy was one of them. So she was Hip and Hop essentially, which was two of the Koopa kids.
yeah.
If people are confused by those
Ooh, she
names.
was in Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat, too.
Oh, she was all over the place. She's very prolific. She's done a ton of
My bad.
stuff,
I'm just
and I
because
mean, and it's
I wanted to check the lower part, and she was in Sticking Around, various voices.
oh,
Also,
sticking around. Wow, who was she in Sticking Around? Was she
just it
anyone?
just says various.
Oh, okay, so it's
So
probably
like
when she was first
any
breaking in,
incidentals, I guess. You know.
and she's again very talented and very very outspoken. She's very close with the fans and stuff. Always talks with all the fans and everything. But I'll never forget on her Twitter, her most famous post on Twitter, which was, "I hate to disappoint some of you, but you can't physically date an animated cartoon character." And I don't know who she was directing it at, but I'm going to take a guess of a certain fandom she's used to dealing with all the time. So, again, Tara Strong, 45, looks gorgeous still to this day. I hope we could probably have her again in the future at some Transformer-related convention.
I hope so too.
She's a sweetheart. She's amazing. So that's 4 voice actors, 4 birthdays, 4 voice actors. 2 Japanese, 2 Canadian in this case. I apologize, not 2 Americans. North Americans.
Yeah.
2 North Americans, this side of the ocean. So February 12th.